So everyone, today I'm really excited. I am joined with Kerryn Gillian. Kerryn, like myself, believe it or not, which you will discover shortly, is also based in New Zealand. She's a wife, she's a mum of some gorgeous kids, and I believe an obsessed hooker, and founder at Needle and Hook by Crochet Birdie. So my understanding is, which we're going to hear more about shortly, but Crochet Birdie is a boutique yarn store. It's based in Gore, which if you don't know where that is, it's in the lower part of the South Island of New Zealand. And it's here that Kerryn and her team source the finest yarns from New Zealand and around the world for fellow arts and crafters, as well as offering both in-store and I believe online workshops for all range of crafting expertise. So before we get started, I really wanted to say a great big thank you so much for being here and dedicating your time and energy to our homegrown series. Sharing with us a bit about, who you are, your story, how you got into doing what you're doing, and of course, some of the challenges in life or business that have come along the way. So thank you again for being a part of this.
My pleasure.
So without further ado, I would love it if you would be able to go ahead and share a little bit about yourself, not necessarily just the business side of you, but also who Kerryn is on day-to-day life.
So I'm just a bog standard, normal mum, normal 30 shivers. What am I, 34, I think? You kind of, once you hit 28, you start forgetting what numbers are rolling around. It all seems the same. But yeah, I'm just living a normal life. I'm lucky enough to be self-employed, which is awesome. So I just get up with my kids. I really enjoy being a mum, like right from the start. I didn't overly love newborns. They're a wee bit hard work, but I really enjoyed it. I've got cool kids. We get on really well. My husband and I are on the same page with what sort of, roles we have, what we see our kids doing, behavior wise and stuff. So it's fun. We have a cool life. We're pretty lucky to live where we live, in Gore. So I'm 5 minutes from my shop, get up, have breakfast with the kids, drop them to school, and then I'm like a block away from my shop. And yeah, I get to spend my days not really at work, which is like the dream, I think. It doesn't really matter what you get paid in the end. If you're doing what you love, it just doesn't really matter.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I get to support my husband. He also owns his own business, so I can support him from my shop, and yeah, it works really well. And I love it. There's so many cool people that come through my door every day, even if they're not through the doors of the shop. Just interacting online, it is so cool. And you kind of, when you're building a brand and that brand is you kind of don't realize how people idolize you a wee bit, and they're just quite excited to get in the shop sometimes. You kind of like, they'll look at the patterns or something and see that it's me behind the shop, and they're like, oh, far out, is that you? I'm like, yeah, I'm just like bog standard. And I think maybe even for more famous people, it still would be like that for them. It incrementally gets a bit bigger, and you just are like, I'm still me, like a normal old person doing their thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So have you always been, do you do knitting and crochet, or mainly crochet?
So I learned crochet when my wee girl Regan was born. She's about to turn 10. And she was a super settled baby. I was bored out of my mind. Like, there's only so much cooking and housework to be done, and they're newborns, they don't create much mess. So I learned crochet with YouTube, and have crocheted flat out, and I actually really hated knitting. And it wasn't until like a year, 18 months ago, that I learned to knit, and now, yeah, I'm not sure which project I want to do basically each night, because I love them both. They've both got wicked qualities about them. But yeah, I just absolutely love slow craft and how it can help your mindset. It helps your confidence. When you make a thing with your hands, you just really value your time and your effort, and where that stuff's come from that you've used to make it with. You kind of just gain a real appreciation for, like, even just how they've made the wool. Like, it didn't come off the sheet like that. Like, it's had such a journey to get to that little cute ball of wool. And then when you see someone like, or something, like if it's a blanket or if it's a hat and it's on someone, you're just like, holy hell, I bloody made that. So yeah, it's incredible. And I just like through my workshop, so I started teaching people. I had all the wool at my house, like we had no wardrobe spaces. And I used to take all my suitcases down to a local cafe and sit up there on their couches and stuff, and they were really accommodating. And just to see, like, I can make things for people, but giving the people the power to make things, it's like that old proverb about teaching someone to fish. You could give them a fish, but there's only one fish. If you teach them how to do it, they're sorted. And so, like, I'd have all sorts of people, like, because I'm quite outwardly confident, and to see someone who wasn't that confident, like, they'd arrive at my workshop and they'd instantly be saying, oh, I'm really terrible at this. And I'm like, well, you've signed up and you've paid to come to this, so you obviously don't think you're that shit.
Yeah.
And they kind of have a wee light bulb moment, like, maybe I do think I can do it, you know? And it's just so cool to watch their journey. And then they'll come back and they'll do, do next level stuff, and then they're on to creating like little boots or quite technical things. And it's like, man, look how far you've come in this short distance. Like, and people really underrate it, like, oh, it's only crochet. I'm like, no, it's not. This is like a skill. You've got this. If everyone could do it, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the biggest thing I love about it, is watching people progress and the path they take. So very cool.
I love how passionate you are about this. Like, there's so much passion and excitement and energy coming through from you. And it's, I guess, not so much the crochet and the knitting itself, but the journey behind it and the skills and the personal development that people get through taking and learning something new.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, because we do, lots of people do downplay it, but because it's such a downplayed craft, that when people see it happening, they're kind of like, far out, this is quite technical. And the more people I teach, the more I've realized how good I am at crochet, and it's probably helped me to value my end products a lot better.
Yeah.
And then even the people that are wishing to buy my end products, they'll think, oh, I'll just give it a go, it's only crochet. And then they try and have a go and they're like, oh, far out. Like, that's actually really good.
I have a friend who is a very good crocheter, and I've been looking at a lot of her items of late. She has got a small business and she's donating some of her proceeds to the Australian bushfires. And
awesome.
So I have been in awe of her collection, because I personally don't know anything about crocheting or knitting, but they're absolutely stunning. So, your items would be exactly the same. And you're so right, is that we so underestimate as a consumer the work that goes into actually creating that piece, probably with a lot of things in life, but specifically right now talking about crocheting and knitting, and the journey that people go through to learn all of that. But it's cool that you've kind of outlined that journey, but also you further along understanding the other side of it, which is awesome too.
Yeah.
And see how far you've come.
I know. And it's just, you do have to sit back and appreciate, like, especially in my courses, there's always like the first hour, or my workshop, sorry, the first hour is always quite awful for people, especially when it's their first one. But I always crack up and I'm like, soon you'll have the appreciative pat. And they're like, what? And in about like 90 minutes or an hour or so, people kind of sit back and, they're like, oh, they're like patting what they've done. And I'm like, holy moly. And it's, you can see them like cogs going around, and they're like, holy shit, like, I've achieved this with a little hook and a piece of string, and it's made this thing. And it's just kind of brings stuff right back to the fundamentals of how it's actually made. And then they'll look at like a towel or something and never look at it the same again. They're like, wow, that's like bits of fabric, bits of string built together to make the fabric. I'm like, exactly. Like, we might do it with machines now, but kind of, it's really gone right back to see how things are created.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's absolutely wonderful. So you kind of mentioned that, well, obviously you had no intention of starting this business. This was not a because it really came about when you had your firstborn, and were blessed with the wonderful first child. So I guess, there are other women out there who are either going on maternity leave or they're in maternity leave, and they have this wonderful idea, I'm going to go and start my own business. sometimes because they don't want to go back to work, sometimes, you know, I guess lifestyle change or whatever it could be. But having, I guess, gone through your journey of, you know, you found something that you loved, it kind of, I guess, built, and then you thought, why not? I'm going to go and, you know, create a business out of this passion of mine. Do you have any advice for these women out there who are thinking about starting a business while having a young family?
I would say definitely try and like build it first. Like I was lucky enough to have the income of my husband, which was awesome. And I got the chance to, I reckon maternity leave is an amazing time just to reset your values. And, you know, you don't often get the chance again to get the time like that, just to think, actually, I'm going to do something completely different. And so I built it up while I was on, so I wasn't on maternity leave, I just quit my job, which is pretty cool.
I did that too. Tick.
Yeah. And I like my background, I should say career, but it's not really a career. My background's admin, and that's kind of something that you can come and go from lots, which I was lucky with. So I built up my Facebook, and then I got a website going. And then I did go back to work for a bit, and I thought to myself, like, right, I'm going to build this little sucker up. And once it gets so crazy busy with work and with the kids, then I'm going to quit my job. And just because, if you've got the passion, just trust in yourself. And sometimes, like, I have no idea if I'm on the right track. You've just kind of got to trust that you're on that track for a reason. And sometimes it's not the right track, but you've got, like, there'll be a lesson behind it. And if you feel so passionate about something, then just go for it. You'll find the right way. And lots of people are like, oh, but I don't know how to build a website, and oh, but I don't know how to do this. But you can find the answers to most stuff. You can't find the passion for something out of a book, you know. If you're loving it, then just let it become whatever it's going to become.
It's quite similar, really. Like, if you talk to a lot of large company CEOs or recruitment teams, they say they hire a lot of the time based on, you know, who they fundamentally are as a person and how passionate they are, not on necessarily skill set, because they believe that they can teach skill set. And it's kind of exactly the same starting a business. If you've got the passion, you can learn the skill set. Because if you talk to anyone in business, no one knows what they're doing. We just all kind of fumble our way along and learn along the way. And
I know, and you've just got to really back yourself, because nobody else will back you like you can back you. You know, you'll have heaps of supporters and stuff, and you wouldn't ever get where you are without your supporters. But if you don't think that you can do it, you know, like, often you'll have this big end game dream, but nobody gets the end game like right there and then. Everyone chips away, and just take it as it comes and see how it goes. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, Kerryn, did you have any big challenges that you had to I guess, have had to face over your time in business? I'm going to assume it hasn't always been smooth sailing.
Yeah, I definitely had. I had a massive challenging year last year. Retail's a funny fish. I know how to crochet, and I know how to talk to people, but I opened a shop and I didn't really realize I didn't know how to sell stuff. So I've kind of, in like 2019 has been a big challenge for me, because when you first launch something, you get a big amount of momentum of first opening a shop, you know, and you kind of ride that wheel for a while, and then you're like, holy crap, I've got to keep this thing going. And so
like a child, it's great when you get like, oh, now I've got them forever.
Shivers. And so I think I just had to deal with quite a bit of mindset issues myself. But I'm quite outwardly confident, but outwardly confident, but I'm quite self-conscious all at the same time. And when people perceive you to be confident, they just think you've got it in the bag, but you're kind of working on your own demons in the background. So my challenge this past year, 2019, has been just around, I was kind of looking for a magic wand, like where is this magic wand? Like, reading all the books and listening to all the podcasts, and like, how can I make my sales were good enough, but I needed them to be better. But like, I am the magic wand. And just back yourself, really. And so yeah, now I'm just doing the work, getting it done, like showing up. Like, people just want to see me, basically. And it's kind of a weird thing to overcome, that you are the thing that people want to see. And so just get out there. And yeah, like, I do my live Facebooks and just talk about boring stuff, like that I was at the beach yesterday with the kids, and people love it. Like, people come up to me in the grocery shop and they're like, oh, really love your live Facebooks. And I'm like, really? Like, do you? Yeah. And so I'm sitting there having a coffee, and yeah, so my biggest challenge has been kind of getting over myself and getting out of my own way, which I think I had to get out of my own way in the beginning, but it's kind of in waves, you don't realize that that's what you're doing, and then you think, oh, how can it be so hard? And but yeah, so in the last month or two, I've been working really hard on just focusing on what is working, what is giving me good energy, and what is not. Get rid of the what is not, and it creates more space for what is. So yeah.
I think a lot of people, I think this is going to really resonate with a lot of our audience, because especially, I don't know whether, I can't speak for a man, I'm not a man, I don't talk to so many men in business, but we definitely go through a phase where we think we need to learn all the things. And it's because that one thing is going to help us be successful. Like, that must be the secret that we're missing.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is a lot of marketing that comes at us like that as well. You have to launch a podcast, you have to be on Instagram, you have to be on LinkedIn, you have to be doing this, you have to be marketing here, you have to be, there's all this stuff that keeps coming at us, telling us to do all of this stuff. When it's like, as you kind of just said, it's like, well, you can learn all of that stuff, but it doesn't save you, you do. And as a small business owner, people want you, not all of the fancy things. They just want to get to know you and see you. And it really is that simple. So to do more of you and not hide behind all of the things so much, and just keep talking to people and connecting with them.
Yeah. And once you realize that it's you, your energy starts building, and you start doing all the things anyway that were freaking you out that you had to get all done.
Yes. Yeah.
And the more you do, the more you create. So then you've got more content. And it's crazy, because as soon as you Google like how to grow your email list, your Facebook and your everything is flooded with more ideas on how to get it. And then you're just totally overwhelmed. And you're kind of like, oh, I didn't realize I was so bad. Why are you advertising this so much to me, So I think the more you back yourself and just do one thing and try to just do one thing right, then you'll feel good off the back of that, and then just everything sort of flows off it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, we focus on the one, and then instead of the all. Yeah. We are one person, not many.
Yeah, and we can only do one thing at a time. Like, even me with making my items, like, I got so overwhelmed in the first sort of 5 years of my make list was like 12 weeks out. Like, someone would order a blanket and throw a complete spanner in the works, and I'd be like, oh my god, I've got like 70 hats to make. And as soon as I'd post a picture, like, most people would just want that hat, and I'd get so bored of making that one hat. But now the more people, then I started focusing on teaching the people, and now I don't have to worry about making the things, because the people get to make their own things. So you can't do it wrong, I don't think. There's always a reason for why you're on that journey at that one time, and you don't see it until after the fact. But then you're kind of like, thanks, that was the reason.
Hindsight, it's a beautiful thing.
I know. Yeah.
Now, I guess, Kerryn, a big purpose behind the Homegrown series is champion of change. And I really believe that all of the amazing women that have been a part of the series are champions of change, because they have taken their own dream or something that they love doing, whether it be a product or a service, and they've decided to go out there and chase that, and to start a business, grow a business, and just juggle all of life along the way as well. But I'm curious to know, what does championing change mean to you?
Well, I wrote a wee bit here, but I think for me, championing change means like pushing the boundaries and just always appreciating that everything's always evolving. Like there's always something new. I hear a lot of people, not just business people, but customers of mine. Like I've just launched my online courses, and I've got a lot of people like, oh, you know, I'm not very good with the internet and stuff. I'm like, well, come on, it's 2020. You kind of got to get good with the internet. But just like I've got a great auntie who's like 94 and she's on Facebook.
Wow.
Just because you're young doesn't mean you shouldn't know how to knit. That's not just an old person's thing, and Facebook is not just a young person's thing, you know. It's all about how you perceive the world and what your mindset's about. And just because I know how to Instagram at the moment, there's a new thing called bloody TikTok that now I'm supposed to get to know how to use that and use that as a marketing tool. And just championing change is, you know, just go with it. If it feels like it's right for you, go with it. Like I'm not on LinkedIn, and I don't do Twitter and blah, blah, blah. I just do what works for me, and I'll change as I see fit for me, you know? Yeah.
Follow what works for you.
Yeah. Follow what gives you a hell yes. If it's a hell no, then don't go for it. Yeah.
Love that. Thank you. Now, my final question to you would be, Kerryn, is that if anyone is watching our time together or our interview and, you know, your story has resonated with them a little bit and they are thinking, oh, I've got this passion that I love too, and I might go start a business and would love to ask you for some advice. Or maybe they, I guess, would be really keen to look at your wool and the other items that you sell or your online workshops. How would someone get in touch with you or go and check all of this out?
They can go and find me at needleandhook.co.nz, or if they happen to be lucky enough to be in the deep south of New Zealand, definitely call in and see me. I've got a visitor's book, and the last person who signed my book had just been in Antarctica. I was so impressed. Never met anyone from Antarctica. She was originally from California, but from Antarctica for 6 months. But yeah, I would love to see people in person. If you are cruising through Gore and want to have a chat with me and just pick my brain, feel free to flick me a message first, and I'll always have the jug on. It's a wool shop. Like, they're the most casual things in the world. The jug is always on. There's plenty of tea, plenty of coffee. And yeah, I like going back with my Facebook lives. I'm just a normal person, so don't feel like I'm not approachable, you know? And I think hopefully with teaching people online and in person, people do realize that I am really approachable, and I'm super casual. Like my online courses, I swear and I make mistakes, and I'm like having a coffee and my nails aren't perfect, and you know, I probably should have my nails done because it's a like bird's eye view of my hands. I probably should use it as a business expense, but anyway. But yeah, feel free to message me either on Facebook or Instagram. It's search Needle and Hook and you'll find me.
Awesome. And you forgot to mention that person will also get some amazing South Island Southern charm, because South Islanders have got the best personalities and, you know, always up for a good time.
Oh, we are. We had some, it's gorgeous couple in from, I get a lot of husbands in that are looking around like, oh God. So I've got like some fishing magazines and stuff for them. They can sit and have a read of magazine. And this one lady in particular came because I stocked Likey needles and hooks. They're this awesome brand. They're slow crafted. They're made out of driftwood. And anyway, she had hunted them down in New Zealand and saw that I stocked them, and she came, and I was like, oh, sorry, we sold out of that particular set, and she was devastated. And the lady that works for me was in the shop as well, and she was like, oh, look, you can have mine. And this husband was like, you would not get that anywhere but in the South Island. So and he was like, are you actually going to sell your set of needles? And she's like, yeah, I'll order another one, don't worry about it.
Oh, I love it.
It's so cool.
It's so
and it's just so normal for us, so we don't really realize that we're going like the extra mile. Yeah, it's weird.
It is. South Islanders are the best.
Oh, cute.
Kerryn, I will let you get going, but thank you again so much for your time today. I have loved hearing more about how your business eventuated and how it definitely wasn't something that was planned. It just kind of happened, and how it continues to, I guess, grow that way. And of course, you know, through different strategies, but really believing in yourself as well as, you know, backing yourself to try different things. And as you mentioned, if it's a hell yes, do it. And if it's a hell no, then don't.
No.
So thank you again. And I wish you the best of luck for the rest of 2020, and have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been great talking to you.
You're welcome.
Bye.